Good evening, my dear members. Welcome you all for the half-day seminar on role of CAs in powering MSMEs and startups. So for this, we have very renowned speakers, CA SS Nayak and CA Venkatesh Bhat. I request CA Kavita Parmesh, Bangalore branch chairperson, to escort them onto the dais and welcome them with the book. Can we have a round of applause for the speakers? Thank you. I request CA Kavita Parmesh to give the welcome address for today's gathering.
Thank you, Shifa. And good evening and welcome to this half-day seminar on MSMEs. MSME is such an important sector in the Indian economy, and equally the role of CAs. It is so critical for MSMEs growth. Unfortunately or fortunately, that has been ignored by CAs, or we don't recognize the importance of our role. While we recognize the importance of MSMEs themselves, but then the role and the positioning what we can do for ourselves is something immense, and definitely that is going to benefit us in the long run. So keeping this in mind, and then also June 27th is the MSME International MSME Day. We want to commemorate this and celebrate that at the branch. So that's when we said, why not dedicate this half-day seminar for MSME and the role of MSMEs. Today we were to have a chief guest MSME director D. Devraj with us, but unfortunately we couldn't make some last-minute meeting at Vidhan and he had to rush. This is the problem with the government officials when we call them. But nevertheless, we have the experts with us today who are the people who know what it is to make MSME successful. So we should take advantage of that and then learn more and ensure that MSMEs are going to power our growth also. It is not just we powering their growth, our growth is also powered as professionals. So I welcome each one of you for this seminar, and also welcome both the speakers, Mr. Venkatesh Bhat as well as SS Nayak, for this seminar. Thank you for being here. Over to you, Mr. Bhat.
I request our MC member, CA Sri Raksha, to introduce today's speaker, and also I request CA Ragan Reddy.
Good evening, everyone. It's my honor to introduce today's speaker, CA SS Nayak. CA SS Nayak is a distinguished chartered accountant with over 3 decades of professional experience in taxation, finance, entrepreneurship development, and MSME mentoring. He is the founder of the renowned expert coaching classes, Mangalore. His professional expertise has taken him across the globe, including assignments and lectures in many abroad countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, France, Muscat, Sri Lanka, etc. An accomplished author and thinker, CA Nayak has a passion for writing motivational quotes and proverbs. He has authored many inspiring books. As a sought-after speaker, he has served as guest faculty for the ICAI in India and overseas, presenting papers at national and international forums. He is widely recognized for his insightful lectures on union budgets, taxation, investments, MSMEs, education, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and socio-economic issues. His regular appearance on television, radio, and public platforms have made him a familiar and trusted voice on current affairs and economic matters. We welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It is a privilege to introduce the eminent speaker, Venkatesh Bhat. He is a managing director and Astro Service Private Limited. He is a chartered accountant, brand advisor, startup mentor, and very combination climate tech entrepreneur. That is the beauty of this. Venkatesh Bhat is a gold medalist in a CA intermediate. He secured he secured top rank in South India in the CA final exam, and this year. So he's further enhanced his leadership acumen. Venkatesh is also served in Hindustan Universal and also Wildful and also G. He also served as a CFO in the ACT FiberNet, which is the third largest wire brand provided in India, and he took that brand in a higher level. And his leadership is also earned a brand position various companies across his 20 years, and in 2016 he was recognized as a 100 most influenced CFO in India by CIMA. So behind that, Venkatesh is also actively engaged in social entrepreneurship and sustainable. He is also co-founder of Climate Tech Social Enterprise, contributing ESG initiative, policy input and climate changes in carbon credit across India. And he also guides the startup incubator in the various university and supported the professional development of chartered accountant and finance across the country. And he is also eminent speaker in all CA events and also in MSME forum. I welcome Venkatesh Bhat.
Thank you, CA Sridaksha and CA Ravindra. I would also acknowledge the presence of CA Pramodar Hegde, Secretary of SISF-ICI, and also presence of CA Pampana B, Regional Council Member. Without further delay, now it is time to light the lamp. I request the dignitaries on the dais to please come forward, and also I request our MC members, including our RAS members, to join us. I request the members to stand for the ICI notice.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I don't want to go with only PPT because power corrupts politicians, PowerPoint corrupts trainer. So whatever I say, according to that, PPT will be played. Okay? So let me start with some positive vibes. Karnataka, Bengaluru, ಕನ್ನಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಸಿ ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಚುಟುಕು ಹೇಳಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡುವ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೇನಂತೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧಕರು ಪಕ್ಕ. ನೀವು ವಾವ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಶಾಯರಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಶಾಯರಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೇನಂತೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧಕರು ಪಕ್ಕ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದರೇನು ರೊಕ್ಕ, ಕುಂತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಕ್ಕ ಪಕ್ಕ. ವಾವ ಹೇಳಿ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದರೇನು ರೊಕ್ಕ, ಕುಂತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಕ್ಕ ಪಕ್ಕ. ಆದುದರಿಂದಲೇ ವಿಜೃಂಭಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ICI ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಪಕ್ಕ. ಇದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆ ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. Problem with the CS is CS are more are introvert, not extrovert. That we should prove that it is not so. See, every Sunday I have been conducting TV show called Business Tonic. I am giving tonic to business community for the last nearly 8 years. Every Sunday it is a live TV show and people can ask questions live and it will be answered on the spot. So it is sponsored by our family bank across India, that is Karnataka Bank. Now, last Sunday I have completed only 374 episodes. Only 374 episodes. The entry is, my dear viewers, entrepreneurs, I will add now, chartered accountants. Are your MSMEs chronic? Do not panic. This is MSME, International MSME Day Clinic. Here we will present you ICA Bangalore branch MSME products tonic. I am CA SS9. This is the entry in the every show. For the last 37 years I have been practicing in Mangaluru. I did my CA articleship and simultaneously LLB from Evening College from Mumbai University. I did my articleship in Mumbai, but because of density of population there, I thought I will come to my native place, Mangaluru, and first started a coaching class for chartered accountants in Mangaluru. I am very proud that our CA Venkatesh Bhat is our alumni. So, and we are proud that he has brought laurels with the first rank, with gold medal, all India level, and it's my privilege that today I am sharing stage with him. That is also my privilege. No problem. Any questions regarding this MSME, anytime you can ask me during my presentation also, afterwards also, even after that in WhatsApp also, there is no anything related to MSME, because I have groomed only 50,000 plus MSMEs for the last 37 years, all over. We have office in Bangalore also. The main problem with our chartered accountants are, there are 54 ministries in central government. How many ministries? 54. How many ministries we are practicing? Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, of late Ministry of MSME. What about other 51 ministries? There are plenty of opportunities. Ministry of Textiles is there, Ministry of Telecommunications is there. After PLI scheme, in 18 sectors they have introduced PLI also. How many of us know about it? That is the sorry state of affairs. And a chartered accountant can render 50 plus kinds of services. How many? 50 plus kinds of services. We ourselves don't know. How many services we are rendering? Only handful. and we are not competing with the other professionals, we are competing with these so-called auditors, accountants. They file GST return, we file GST return. They make some small work, we also file the IT return. So where we stand? We should be the leader. There are plenty of being in Mangaluru. I have practiced all over the world. Opportunities are everywhere. We should tap it. We are not tapping, we are trapped. That is the problem. Okay. Now MSME is the growth engine of Indian economy. Basically, two sectors are like two eyes of our economy. One is MSME, another is agriculture. Agriculture, maximum people are engaged in agriculture, employment generation is there. Of course, we should be very proud. Even though 145 crores population, we are self-sufficient in food production. We should be very proud. We need not have to depend on anyone. And your milk production also, we are the world's largest milk producers. But value-added products, when it comes to value-added products, we are lagging behind. MSMEs can contribute agricultural sector by adding value addition. So that's why MSME and agriculture, they are the two eyes of the economy. MSME, 45% of our exports are from MSME. 31% of the GDP of our country is contributed by MSME. More than 32 crores employment generated through MSME. And banking sector, our MSME ecosystem, our banking ecosystem, our startup ecosystem, our tax ecosystem, and our of late infra ecosystem, all are conducive for the growth of our economy. Now, MSMED Act, it was enacted in 2006, but since 2006 up to 2020, they didn't act much. Even though the act was enacted in 2006, they didn't act much. In 2020, during COVID, earlier there was a distinction between manufacturing and services. Traders were not under the ambit of MSME. Now, dynamic changes have been introduced. Manufacturing, services, wholesale traders, retail traders, distributors, educational institutions, coaching classes, and what not, even our professionals. We are all MSMEs. So, except CRE, commercial real estate, almost all those who are covered under this definition, they are MSMEs. And in 2025 budget, union budget, there was a dynamic change in MSME definition. Earlier it was based on investment. Now there are two parameters, investment and turnover. Investment means investment in plant and machinery and equipment. In case of service enterprises, equipments we can take because there is no plant and machinery. Okay? So now they have increased the limit of investment around 2.5 times, turnover by 2 times. So that is 1 crore is the investment in plant and machinery and equipment, increased to 2.5 crore, turnover 5 crore to 10 crore, small enterprise 10 crore to 25 crore, this is 50 crore to 100 crore, and medium enterprise 50 crore to 125 crore, 250 to 500 crore. That means up to 500 crores it is covered under turnover, it is covered under MSME. And this investment is only plant and machinery and equipment. Vehicles, buildings, furniture, all these things are excluded for the purpose of definition. And for the purpose of turnover, export turnover is also excluded. Suppose an enterprise is having a turnover of 600 crores, out of which 200 crores is the export. Is it a MSME? Yes, because for the purpose of calculation of turnover, it comes only 400 to boost more and more export. Then earlier it was on the basis of gross block, but problem is gross block is available only in the case of corporates and companies. Proprietary concerns, partnership concerns, where you get gross block, very difficult. So they shall change the definition. WDV as per the income tax. There they can take. See, so much the intent of the government is to bring more and more MSMEs into the fold. Why? Because MSME generates maximum employment. Even startups, Startup India portal was launched in 2016. I don't want to cover more startups because startup king is there. He will cover, but still, 2016, now 2,30,000 plus startups are there. On an average, these startups generate employment of 11. Correct, no? On an average. So that is the thing. So more and more employment is generated. And for banks, RBI has mandated 40% of the total advances to priority sector. MSME, agriculture, some educational loans, some priority sector housing loans, not all housing loans. So maximum they give importance in MSME. Last year, year-on-year growth of more than 12% in advances to MSMEs. Okay? Any doubt? No? Already covered. Now MSME statistics, this will change day to day. Udyam registration. In order to be identified as MSME, you should have Udyam registration. Your name is Pampana, no? What is the proof that you are Pampana? Your Aadhaar card. Correct. Like that. In case of MSMEs, what is the proof? Udyam registration. There are plenty of units, they are yet not registered. Informal sector is there. Normally street vendors are there, many household these people are there, small businesses are there, small manufacturers, they are in unorganized sector. They are not yet registered under Udyam registration portal. If they don't register under Udyam registration portal, they will be deprived of the benefits under MSME scheme. That is the reason. And Udyam registration is very simple. Anybody can register within 5 minutes on self-declaration. Munche DIC hogudu. First temporary registration, then permanent registration. Then if you go manual, what is the thing you know? So permanent registration, they want to visit your unit. Then to the satisfaction of the officer, you have to act. Okay? How to satisfy the officer? All of us know. Okay. Now, 8.76 crores registered under Udyam registration. Out of that, 97+% are micro, within 2% are small, less than 1% is medium. Because of this widening of the MSME definition, many enterprises have come under the ambit of MSMEs. Employment generation 38.86 crore as on date. I don't think that Mudra Yojana loans given are covered under this because So far we have given 57 to 58 crore Mudra loans. Mudra loans, even if one loan, one employment generated, 58 crore employment is generated. People tell that no employment generated, people don't have employment, all these things. Problem in India is, we don't have the problem of unemployment. Employability is the problem. Funding options. This is the main thing. Or everybody wants money. Correct, no? Money makes many things. जब तक तुम्हारा पास पैसा है, लोग पूछेंगे तुम कैसा है. In Chanakya Niti, Chanakya Kautilya, he says the importance of money. Vittena hinam purusham tyajanti dharascha putrascha sahodharascha savittavantam punareva yanti vittam niloke purushasya bandhu. Arthat vittena hinam purusham tyajanti. If you don't have money, everybody will reject you. Nobody will care at you. Correct, no? Who are all there? Dharascha, may it be wife. Putrascha, may it be children. Sahodharascha, may it be your siblings or relatives or for close friends. Savittavantam punareva yanti. Once you get money, suppose you win lottery, you got money or some ancestral property, windfall gain or Biddi township acquisition, you got some big chunk of 2 crore, 4 crore and all. So, then everybody is your relative, everybody is your friend. So that's why who is your close friend? Vittam hi loke purushasya bandhuhu. Money is your close friend. Okay? Now, Sydney, you heard about Sydney? Small Industries Development Bank of India. Their work is to only give loan. And only give loan to MSMEs. Even they started just in 1990, they have covered wide across India, and recently in 25 budget also they announced new branches, many branches, additional branches also they opened. There are many online, you can apply for loan, speed, express and all. Some cases within 1 hour you will get sanction. Within?
59 minutes.
No, that is different. 59 minutes I will tell you. So 59 minutes का कहानी भी बोलता हूँ. 59 minutes में गांधर्व विवाह होता है. Okay, engagement, not marriage. That I will tell you. See, MSME you ask anything because every day I dream, I breathe, I eat. Ground reality, you know. So now I am very happy that our ICA has appointed me as a master trainer, all India level. I am giving a lot of lectures on MSMEs. I have the fortune of visiting many places. Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi also I visited, then Chennai, then this one, recently Vijayawada, Vellore, then Shivakashi, then Coimbatore. I visit all the temple wherever they are. So one good thing is that with VIP darshan. Okay, that is the only advantage. Okay, it is good. Sydney schemes are that. We will come to Sydney schemes later. You can log in, you can check in website also, but still. Sydney, see greenfield and brownfield enterprises. Greenfield means new. New enterprises, they have scheme, but have aversion. Practical I am telling you. But those enterprises with the 3 years standing, with the 2 years vintage of cash profit, then up to 15 crores machinery loan they give without collateral security, without coverage under CGTMSE. What they do is, in banks, if you apply for 1 crore, suppose your project cost is 1 crore, machinery investment. How much margin you have to bring in normal course? 25%, 25 lakhs. Okay? 75 lakhs you can take loan from bank. Then 75 lakhs, if you have collateral, you have to give collateral, otherwise they will cover under CCT MSC, Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Okay? Here what they do is, 25 lakhs they will keep as a deposit. That itself is a collateral. 100 lakhs they give loan. No CGT MSC coverage. Only for those who have standing of 3 years, vintage of 2 years with the cash flow. Clear? CDB. So very quick. Of course, they will check all your horoscope. What is the horoscope in, for business people? Civil. First civil. Okay. If it is civil, is gone, then gone. Whatever may be your asset. Except gold loan, for every purpose they check the civil. Correct, no? Whatever property you give, they are not bothered. If your civil is good, then only they will smile at you. Otherwise, they will not see at you. A day will come when girl's father want to give his daughter for marriage, first he will check civil rather than your horoscope. Okay, definitely, you see, I am not giving joke. They will come to know what is the stature and other things. Okay, so marriage also they are saying, who sees what in marriage? Little out of syllabus. Okay, in CA also they ask same question now. Out of syllabus. We are all prepared for that. We have crossed that line and we have passed. Correct now. So, in marriage, who sees what? I have done one program in my TV channel, Wedding Economy. Temple Economy I have done. You can tell any topic I have done. In marriage economy, one beautiful sloka is there. Kanya varayate rupam, mata vittam, pita shrutam, bandavaha kulavichanti, mrashtanam itare janaha. Not this, in Tamil Nadu yesterday you saw, no? This is this, not this. Okay. You saw, no, that? Okay. So, in marriage what happens? Kanya varayate rupam. Girls see only beauty, handsome boy. Other things, whether their virtues, they are not bothered. They see only beauty. Or handsome, they should be handsome. Mata vittam, girl's mother. She will see boy how much money he has, which car he comes, and whether in-laws are there or not. Now additional thing. Okay. Then how much income, how much wealth, all these things. Girl's mother sees. Pita shrutam. Girl's father, he sees virtues, good virtues of a boy. He is not bothered about other things. Money can be gained any time. Correct, no? Bandavaha kulamichanti. Relatives see from which caste, which religion, or which kulam, that means background. All these things they see. Whereas 99% those who attend marriage, Nashtanam itare jana. They are bothered about how ಊಟ ಹೇಗಿಟ್ಟುಂಟೆ. Other things they are not. ಹುಡುಗ ಯಾರು ಹುಡುಗಿ ಯಾರು ಅದು ಹುಡುಗಿದು ತಂದೆ ನಾನು ಕರೆದ್ರು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದದ್ದು. ನೀವು ವಿಶ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಶ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೀದಾ ಬಂದು ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಪೀಪಲ್ 99% people are bothered about Nashtanam. Okay. Here also schemes are like that only. 99% of the bankers, they see only CIBIL first. Remaining afterwards. Not 99, 100%. Yeah, no 99.
No, you have to, that 1% gold.
Huh?
1% is gold.
Yes. Gold, yeah, gold loan, no. Correct. 59 minutes loan, you told. 59 minutes PSB loan in 50. All slides are there. If I go with slides, then later on I will just run. I can say, because slide is not at all necessary for me. Okay. So slide later on we will take. I told now power corrupts and PowerPoint. Okay. 59 minutes loan. Here also 3 years standing should be there. Up to 5 crore working capital. You can apply in 59 minutes. Almost all PSU banks, some private sector banks, they are participating in this. You can apply for that. And how to apply, that procedure is there. Very simple. And it all documents are followed. But problem in 59 minutes you will get only in principle sanction. It is only engagement, not marriage. बाद में ज्वेलरी बुक करना पड़ेगा वो ये all these things. So until then you have to roam with the boy and girl should roam and waste the time. Okay. So this 59 minutes only gimmick. In principle they will give, but actual delivery will take time. Documentation if it is there, property document if you are giving, then legal search report, valuation report, all these things will come. Then Atal Incubation Center. So Government of India has set up an Atal Incubation Center in nearly 100 places all over India. In Nitte also, I am the mentor of Atal Incubation Center Nitte. Where this fund of funds, in every budget last time, 10,000 crores earmarked for fund of funds means. They don't give directly to the entrepreneur. Through this incubation center, these incubation center, their work is to nurture, handhold and support for prototypes until commercialization they support. After commercialization you can go to banks. Seed funding support and grants, now Nidhi Prayas grant, he will explain about it. All these things will be made available. Then PM Mudra Yojana, this is very famous in all radio, TV, same thing comes. So our PM's most favorite Yojana, instead of borrowing from money lenders and finances, they can go to banks and get. So Shishu, Kishore, Tarun, now Tarun Plus. So why they have distinguished all this? Up to 50,000 Shishu, no margin. Up to 5 lakhs, Kishore, 15% margin. Tarun, 15 to 20%. Tarun Plus, those who have repaid promptly, they can give 20. Recently, even other than this Mudra, earlier, MSMEs, RBI has mandated all the banks, it is mandate. All the banks, when we go for bank audit, you have to see. Up to 10 lakhs, any MSME, they should not take collateral. Even if they give, they should not take. Now that has been revised to 20 lakhs. Up to 20 lakhs, no collateral should be taken. Even if you give, they should not take. But primary security can be taken. Suppose you are purchasing on office premises, then it is a primary security, now collateral. Assets created out of bank loan. Stand up India. So I will go with the slide, that is best idea. This hidden lot of schemes are there. 59 minutes, this is the procedure. GST is a must registration. Income tax returns in XML format. Bank statement last 6 months in PDF format. Director owners, basic details, KYC and all. In principle in 59 minutes. If you apply now, before you go, loan is sanctioned. In principle. Yeah. Partner banks. These many banks are participating in. Yes. These are the documents required. Mudra. Stand up India. Why I wanted to show this slide now? Normally girl is more height or boy. Then marriages, well they select. Love marriage you forget. Arranged marriages. Boy is taller than girl. In stand up India, who is taller here? Girl. That's why I have shown this slide. In stand-up India, girl is taller than boy. Because stand-up India scheme means who can stand up? Whether all of you can stand up? Only girls can stand up. Or SC/ST entrepreneurs, they can stand up. If boys want to stand up, they should stand up along with the women. Because the word women includes we men. Correct, no? Word women includes we men also. So here the rule is, in case of partnership, LLP, company, where women entrepreneurs, they should hold minimum 51% share and 41%, 49, up to 49 we men can hold. So that's why this slide is, you can remember forever. Girl is taller than boy. Hello madam. Stand Up India scheme from 10 lakhs to 100 lakhs. Why this new scheme? New name is given, old wine in new bottle. See here, margin is relaxed from 25% to 15%. But here only for greenfield ventures. Greenfield ventures means only new setups. And it is applicable to all manufacturing, trading, services. And both term loan and working capital can be included. And normally working capital given on the basis of drawing power, that is CC limit. But in some cases, we chartered accountant, we cannot give drawing power statement because ours is receipt based of accounting, doctors receipt based of accounting. Then how will you give stock statement or booked statement? In such case, overdraft limit can be given. No stock statement. Based on the turnover 20% and our rules is there. That maximum 10 lakhs. Okay? Clear? And repayment up to 7 years repayment with 18 months moratorium, initial repayment holiday based on your need. Okay? If there is construction of the building and all required, import of machineries and all, that better to take maximum repayment period. Many people make one common mistake while preparing the project report. DCCO. Can you tell what is DCCO? Date of commencement of commercial operation. Here you have to mention when you are going to start your DCCO. Suppose if you can't start, in many cases what happens? Their project will not complete, DCCO will commence. They start repaying out of working capital, then they are trapped. One case. There is a provision as per the Reserve Bank of India, 2 times each DCCO can be extended 1 year each. Earlier 6 months 2 times, now 1 year 2 times. 2 years before, well in advance, 1 month or 2 months before commencement of the commercial operation, if you foresee that it cannot be done in next 1 or 2 months, you can in advance apply to the sanctioning authority, bank, extension of DCCO by 1 more year. Still if it is not done, another more year. Clear? In case of infrastructure projects, road and other things, 2 years. It can be still again extended based on the need. Many people make mistake in this. And nowadays, bankers are also not keen in extending DCCO. Why no? RBI has made one more provision. If you extend, how many of you have gone for bank audits? Have you seen DCCO extension in any case? We are seeing earlier when we were doing audit, tally ho gaya bole to we are very happy, we used to give party. Now, lot of other things we have to see, especially in bank audits. See, DCCO, if it will not commence as per the plan, it is very dangerous for any unit. Now bankers, they are not keen because they have to make additional 5% provisioning. RBI has mandated now. Nobody wants additional 5% provisioning. It is the problem. That's why, while preparing the project report, if the loan is more than 1 crore, always try for 10 years repayment. Don't go for 7 years. Many banks will insist for 5 years and all. Nonsense. And we are dancing according to the tune of the bankers because they have to give the loan. No? That is the problem. You should be very, very careful. Project report anybody can do in computer, Excel sheet. You can do automatically, everybody can do. But the problem is you should know in depth. Each industry specific, they have their own pros and cons. You need to visit the space. All my 50,000 projects, what I have done, I have visited all the sites. Then I have prepared the project report. Can you imagine? Recently I have done 2 medical colleges projects. One in Mysore I have done. Nearly 200 crores. Okay, the project report is prepared by my articles, not by me. Even 200 crores. First year articles, they are preparing project reports. We are training them like that. So there I have told, take up to 15 years. It is like a infrastructure, educational institutions, they can live up to 15 years. Take holiday maximum, construction plus, after construction, commencement of commercial operation also, immediately we will not gain money. Next 6 months again cooling period. Then you have to start the repayment. If you generate more income and start paying early, there is no problem. Otherwise, if you delay, your CIBIL will be gone. You will be the defaulter. So this is the many people, they do the blunders in that. They will be very careful. Credit guarantee scheme. Now why this definition is required, MSME? Credit guarantee scheme means, if you buy a car, madam, are you insuring your car? Insuring. Health insurance? Okay. Life insurance? Who is paying the premium? You are paying the premium. Here also, credit guarantee trust for micro and small enterprise. Medium enterprises are not covered under CGT-MSE. CGT-MSE means credit guarantee trust for micro and small enterprises. It is working under MSME Ministry of the Government of India. In Tamil Nadu, they have done credit guarantee trust for micro lenders. CMDGP, Chief Ministers. Sorry, not CMDGP, right? Chief Minister, that state fund also they have done up to 1 crore. Here, up to 10 crores, you can take loan from banks or NBFCs or financial institution without collateral security. You can avail, whether they give or not different, but you can avail. There is a provision. Okay? So, Jaminu Beda, Jaminu Beda. It is a beautiful tagline. Jaminu Beda, Jaminu Beda. That is CGT-MSE scheme. And who has to pay the premium? Borrower has to premium. They have substantially reduced the CGT-MSE premium. See the intent of the government to bring more and more people under the ambit, more and more flow of finance. We should be very proud that this government has done for the last 10, 11 years or 12 years now. This is a beautiful work, whatever it may be, wonderful work. Without collateral, can you imagine that money? Yes, madam?
Please explain more about this.
Sorry?
Please explain more about this.
How?
How traders can avail it?
All traders, wholesale, retail, distributor, educational institutions. Even I will tell you, educational institutions can avail OD limit. Do you know? How many of us know? Without we know how to make them know. Even educational institution they can avail. Now wholesale, retail, all after 2020, all can avail. Except commercial real estate, CRE.
Bank.
Huh?
Need some bank.
So you are talking about CC. CC.
CC.
No, CC is already there. What is this credit guarantee scheme? What premium? How does it work? Like.
I will tell you one minute. Suppose 10 crore. Your project, you want loan of 15 crore. CGTMS coverage is only for 10 crores. This year you have taken, your turnover is 50 crore. Thumb rule. What is the thumb rule in bank? 20% of the turnover, 10 crore they have given under CGTMS. Next year your turnover will increase to 12 crores. You want more, what to do? In such case, now they have done hybrid. Hybrid means whatever collateral you have, first you can cover your limits under collateral. Remaining you can cover under CGTMS. Hybrid. Or term loan you can take under CGTMS. The working capital can be under this collateral or vice versa. Hybrid. And earlier, credit guarantee, this premium, in case of term loans, they used to charge on the limit. Now working capital it's on limit. For example, you have 10 crore limit. Okay. And suppose 1.5%. How much? 15 lakhs you have to pay? Insurance premium. That is credit guarantee premium. Every year whenever limit is there. Suppose you have 10 crore term loan. Say repayment in 10 years. Earlier, every year on 10 crore, 1.5% means 15 lakhs. Even at the end of the last, if your loan outstanding is 1 crore also 15 lakhs, you should have paid the premium. Now, it is based on, at the beginning of the year, whatever balance outstanding, based on that, now last year 1 crore means on 1 crore only 1.5%. So it varies from case to case. I have just told 1.5%. Earlier as high as 3% was there. Now they have reduced. In 2025 budget, in budget what we see, what is the income tax rate and what other this, we are not bothered about all these things. And before budget, there will be economic survey. How many of we refer and see economic survey? In my TV show, I have done economic survey topic. Business tonic, when you go, you can subscribe that. Business tonic. Okay, Namma Kudla business tonic. Not now, after this. So, if you just, all this, even economic survey, because this year budget was on Sunday. Correct now? Still budget is presented on February 1st. That day budget started at 11 o'clock. But our program is every Sunday. That day I preponed 10 to 11:30 program, I preponed 9:30 to 11. That day I did economic survey. 732 pages. How many of you have read? Chief Economic Advisory prepares. It is tabled in Lok Sabha. Both the houses, but the finance bill should be, assent is only Lok Sabha. Can be discussed in both the houses. And in that preface, Ananta Nageshwaram beautifully told one thing. Yama's message to Nachiketa in Kathopanishad. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametastau samparitya vivinatti vira. Shreyo hi dhiro bhi preyo mando yogakshema vranite. Have you understood? I have also not understood. 10 times it took for me to understand. 11th time I got tube light, not like book, chip book. Okay. Now understood. Like that. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametastau. Because now our citizens, we are in Amrit Kal. Correct no? We are in Amrit Kal. Don't dissent, don't have any dissent. Because we should agree the thing. We are in Amrit Kal. Since 75 years of independence, next 25 Amrit. Whether you can sip Amrit immediately, elixir? No. It is like Samudra Mantana. In Samudra Mantana, one side Suras, one side Asuras. Okay, Mandara mountain with Vasuki. They were churning the sea. Head is from whose side? Asuras. Ali kuda ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಶೇಂದ್ರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay. First what you got elixir. First you got hala poison. So next many 14 items have been emerged in Samudra Mantana. In entrepreneurship, I always connect with all 14 items with the entrepreneurs, what they should do and all. So beautifully I have done many places, entrepreneurship with the Samudra Mantana. Okay. Now what I told, Shreyascha Preyascha Manushya Netastau Vivinakti Dhiraha. That means for us citizens, we have been offered Shreya and Preya. What is Shreya? Shreya means enduring good. Whether enduring good will come immediately. CA join how much you have to study. Then only after writing exam, well, result, then you will enduring good you will get. Correct? No, immediately you will not get. That is Shreya. Shreya means enduring good. Preya means fleeting comfort. आज के देखेगा, who will read so much voluminous book? I don't want to do CA, mummy. Father and mother, your children 90% they think that we don't want CA. Correct, no? Because of this, so many books. Why I should read? They want fleeting comfort, not enduring good. Correct, no? So when choices are given, enduring good versus fleeting comfort, mature person selects Shreya, immature person selects Preya. He settles for immediate comfort, whereas mature person always craves for enduring good. In the interest of the country, we should always select enduring good, Shreya. Like that, in the interest of any entrepreneurs, then their business, maximum profit they should plow back into the business. We have 7 fundamental accounting concepts. Correct, no? All we can remember 7 fundamental concepts in accounting. Earlier I used to teach with the drag BMC. D for dual aspect, R for realization, A for accrual, G for going concern, B for business entity, M for money measurement, C for cost. Correct, no? Always business entity concept means business and owners are different. Whatever we deserve, what we pay for our others, what we deserve, then only so much only we should draw from the business. Remaining we should plow back. It is for enduring good. Otherwise it will be fleeting comfort. Okay, we will settle for it. Hybrid means, the advantage in hybrid is your CGTMSC premium will reduce when you have collateral. See, normally if you have collateral, many people think, ಯಾಕ್ರಿ ನಾವು collateral ಕೊಡೋದು CGTMSC ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ. See, one thing I will tell you, if they give under CGTMSC means 100% coverage will not be there. Based on small loan, priority and all, up to 50, 60, 75, in some cases 80, 90 and all. So that's why when the claim is not full, that risk premium bankers add. If you give collateral and take loan at 9%, under CGTMSC they may charge 10 or 10.5% plus CGTMSC fees based on the risk perception. So little bit cost. If you have collateral, you cover under collateral, remaining you can do CGT. In some banks, we negotiate. If the balance sheets are very good, then with the 60% collateral, 10 crore loan with 6 crore collateral, we do 4 crore, we don't allow them to cover under CGTMSC. We don't want. You cover under only this one. Because CGTMSC also covers him. Why can't you just, we are giving collateral now? Like that you can bargain. That is based on the strength of your balance sheet. The desirable ratios that I will come discuss later. Now CGTMSC fees has been revised with effect from 1/4/25. It has been brought down. Okay? See, this is the fees. Now maximum you see here 8 to 10 crore, standard rate 1.2, fee after discount, fee rate with risk premium, more the risk. Suppose up to 15% risk, this is the premium. 30% risk, this. 50% the risk is more, this. Risk is calculated, they are making risk rating now. Low risk, normal risk, moderate risk and high risk, like that. Bankers are making rating now, based on that only interest rates are fixed. And CIBIL score, all these things will count. CMR CIBIL in case of business, in case of individual CIBIL. Correct? No? Now recently, this product, now some banks, institutions, they are making this wide publicity, they are doing conducting program. May 5th, Cabinet has taken decision, Union Cabinet. Because of West Asian crisis, like COVID time they have given ECLGS 1, 2, 3, 4, you remember. Now this is ECLGS 50. Up to 2 crore 35 lakhs loans on 31st March 27, whichever exhausts earlier, this scheme will be there. And if the loan is sanctioned before 31st March 27, you can avail in time, next 3 months they will give. This scheme of West Asian crisis because of war-like situation. Earlier it was on term loan also. Now it is only on CC limit, both MSME and non-MSME. 5th May they did cabinet meeting. 10th May I did program in TV show. I have written article in Suddhi Money also. Like Vika Money, we have one paper called Suddhi Money. Every Sunday financial articles will come. So, here, suppose your clients have loan, CC limit, no term loan. CC, OD or working capital term loan. It is for working capital. Your working capital term loan also okay. 1st January 2026 to 31st March 2026, these 3 months, peak utilization, on that 20% you can avail. Suppose contractor sometime government will release on 31st March, it will become credit values of 0, then they should not be deprived of this limit, no? So 1st January 2026 to 31st March 2026, peak balance outstanding of that 20% ECLGS. Now, many bankers, they don't tell customers at all. Yaake mare puna loan kodudante. Devaru kotru pujari bid anta heltare. This is the loan given by government through banks, 100% guarantee coverage by NCGLT, National Credit Guarantee Trust Limited, owned by Government of India, 100% guarantee coverage. Guarantee fees not owned by us, by the government. CGTMSC guarantee fees we should bear, but here it is borne by government. Processing fees, 0. Bankers cannot take processing fees. Upper cap for interest, ಕೆಲವರು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. 11% of government guarantee. No, upper cap for banks is only 9%. More than 9% they cannot charge interest. NBFCs maximum 13%. And 5 years repayment with 1 year holiday. No collateral additional, but existing collateral you have to expend. Central government, all this benefit, but state government, when you go for documentation, 0.5 on mortgage, 0.5 on hypothecation, without upper ceiling. First time in the state of Karnataka only it is. One of my clients, he has been sanctioned in unit in Kerala, Kasaragod, border of Karnataka, but in Kerala state, 12 crores loan is sanctioned. Loan is sanctioned by branch in Mangalore. When we wanted to go for documentation, they told 12 lakhs is the stamp paper. 12 crores, 0.5. 12 lakhs, no upper ceiling. Because of guarantee scheme, Gone case. MSME, everybody is in trouble. Then I gave them idea. Same bank has got branch in Kasaragod. You make documentation in Kasaragod. You know the stamp paper, how much it may be? Only 20,000 rupees. 10,000 for mortgage, 10,000 for hypothecation. Where is 12 lakhs, where is 20,000? How much loot they are doing? And they are telling Adani, Ambani, and this is the problem. Adani, Ambani, if they do well, it is good for the economy because 37% tax they will pay, maximum rate. That 37% tax will go to whom? All 80 crore free ration, that, this, everything, it will come, no good, no. We don't discuss about that, that is the problem. Okay. So this is the emergency credit, 5 years repayment, 1 year holiday. Okay, next 4 years. No collateral, existing security should be extended. One good thing is that from March onwards up to now, and until the closure of the loan, existing securities also should not be diluted. Then government in India could top here. Amara collateral, that is not possible. Okay? So this is the beauty of this. I have done the program also in this. Okay? See, 100% for MSME borrower guarantee coverage. Non-MSME borrower, 90% coverage. Eligible borrowers, MSMEs, non-MSMEs, airline sector still more. That I don't cover because it's not required now. But advantage of NCDLT, many people they think, so our CC is carrying only 8%, this is 9%, why I should take, I don't want. But you should insist your customer to avail this NCDLT scheme because it will help for liquidity. It will help you to increase the current ratio for this no drawing power calculation. It is as good as capital you got. You got my point. Suppose you have 10 crore limit, 2 crore. Suppose you have drawn 10 crore. 2 crore you will get. 2 crore if you get, next 3 times of that you can again borrow if you want. You can diversify, you can expand. You got my point. ECLGS. Now latest scheme, Atal Incubation Center. Mr. Venkatesh Bhat will cover this. All this funding and other. CGTMSE clear? Next another beautiful scheme is that PMFME scheme. What is this PMFME scheme? PMFME means Prime Minister's formalization of micro food processing enterprises. Earlier ಹಪ್ಪಳ ಸಂಡಿಗೆ ಅದು ಇದು ಚಿಕ್ಕಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಸ್ಟೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸರ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದು ಚಿಕ್ಕಿ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾರ ಹೈಜೀನ್ ಅಂತ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಡೌಟ್. Even if you want to buy, you don't buy. You buy in beautifully packed and other things. See our Prime Minister's vision. We should always be see the vision of our this. Now, smallest of small, if they want to set up new unit or expand existing unit, investment in plant and machinery and working capital up to 1 crore can be availed under this scheme only with the 10% margin. With the 10% margin, 90% 90 euro. And up to 30 lakhs machinery investment, only machineries and equipment, packing machinery, whatever required for these things, manufacturing. Up to 30 lakhs of machinery, 50% subsidy, 35% from central, 15% from state. This is the one scheme central state have joined. Otherwise, normally they don't join. If central sees like this, state will see like this. Our state. Correct, no? So there is a problem. So here up to 15 lakh subsidy you can get. Okay? And this is for food processing, only food. FSSA registration and all required. Attractive packing you can do. Even small of the smallest people, they can avail the benefit and do business. PMFLE, everything online now. PMFLE portal, if you apply and put your bank's name, address and your IFSC and other code, it will go to them. If they don't sanction, they will ask why you are not sanctioned. So these are the statistics. Who want statistics? Union Bank, Nari Shakti. Now many banks that Nari Shakti is there. Our Shakti is Nari Shakti. Correct, no? Ladies should clap now at least. I'm very unfortunate. Our Shakti is Nari Shakti. Nobody claps. Then you hear the chappal kattu minus. Under Nari Shakti scheme, again same, girl is taller than boy. But no SC/ST entrepreneur here. Union Bank of India, this scheme, up to 10 crore they can avail under Nari Shakti with 15% margin. Up to 2 crore processing fees is nil. And collateral also relaxation is there. Otherwise they will cover under credit guarantee scheme. Earlier 5% margin up to 100 lakhs. Then they have discontinued, now made 15%. Because earlier MD was a lady, so it did like that. When she left, then margin increased normally. Okay. Now seed pendings about Karnataka state. Okay. That is subject is PMEGP scheme, one of the most flagship scheme across the globe. Most flagship scheme across the globe. PMFME scheme. Under this PMFME scheme, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ 1.5 ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಾನು ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. Is it not interesting? You want? Yes. So here, under this PMEGP scheme, there are two kinds of entrepreneurs, general and special. Who is general? General are those who are not special. Who is special entrepreneur? Women. Women are always special. SC/STs, OBCs, minority, extremist, physically challenged. All these are covered under special entrepreneur. Remaining are general entrepreneur. Margin for general entrepreneurs is urban and rural uniformly 10%. Margin for special entrepreneurs is uniformly 5%. Okay? Subsidy, 35% subsidy in rural area for special entrepreneur, 25% for general entrepreneur in rural area. Urban area, 25% for special entrepreneur, 15% for general entrepreneur. Earlier it was only up to 25 lakhs for manufacturing, now they have enhanced to 50 lakhs. That means if you have 5% margin, suppose special entrepreneur, 2.5 lakhs if you put 50 lakhs project you can do. And you will get subsidy also. Okay, PMEGP scheme. Only for new entrepreneurs, only for individuals. Clear? Suppose you have already repaid properly. Earlier, until the closure of the loan, 7 years, you cannot take any additional loan. Now, if you have successfully completed 3 years, what they do, subsidy amount they will give to the bank and they will deposit in your name with the bank, and on that FD they don't give interest. To the extent of FD they don't charge interest on loan also. After 3 years they will appropriate this FD proceeds to loan. Afterwards, suppose if you want to extend second dose, like second pen. Okay? What is second dose? Second dose means if you have successfully completed, promptly repaid, 3 years over, up to 1 crore for manufacturing, up to 25 lakhs for services. Traders also there, but now some administrative instructions have come. Traders they are not giving here. Okay. So 25 lakhs with the 15% subsidy uniformly. They are giving this loan. Second, PM Vishwakarma loan for 18 trades, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, we will forget. For chartered account, they will not come to see us. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, it is a beautiful scheme. Ice plant and all, if you want to put in the coastal area, 40% subsidy and all that. Mind boggling, nobody will imagine. We don't know all these things. Then how can you make to know? New practitioners, they can create entrepreneurs like this. ನಿಮಗೆ ಲೋನ್ ಬೇಕಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಬೇಕಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. Then everything they will come to you only. You can do networking. If you can't do, you can get networking. Correct? No? Our biggest network is network. Correct? No? So this PM FME scheme, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, in this many schemes, this is there, I don't know to cover. Then new one scheme for women entrepreneurs, that Stand Up India, no? They have extended up to 1 crore to 2 crore. But so far they have not implemented. Only scheme is announced. Then mutual credit guarantee scheme up to 100 crore machineries. You can buy without collateral. But there is one catch. That 5% of the loan amount is upfront guarantee fees. 5 crore you have to deposit if you want 100 crore. But now they have brought some clarification. At the end of the loan period, then they will give back. It is like 5 crore deposit you have done. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund up to 2 crore with 3% interest subvention. Credit guarantee scheme for startups up to 20 crores. That Venkatesh Bhat will cover. Public procurement policy for MSMEs. Have you heard? Public procurement policy. PPP means we heard private public partnership. Now it is public procurement policy. All central government departments, PSUs, they have to purchase their requirement 25% from MSMEs with a sub target of 4% from SC/ST entrepreneurs, 3% from women entrepreneurs. Through GEM portal it can be done. So these are the things. Many advantages are there, and MSMEs up to 15% of their requirement L1 price they can take. Up to 25% quota L1 plus 15% also they can go, even if the rates are more. Okay? Cold storage subsidy scheme. It is not in cold storage, it is there. But we are not. If you know, we can tell our client, you will get 3.5 crore subsidy, means you can take good fees, no? Subsidy means free. Who will not give you the fees? Everybody will give. 35% Northeast state, SC/ST promoters, FUO, self-help group 50%. 10 crore cold storage if you get, 5 crore subsidy. What a beautiful scheme. This is why, that's why I told agriculture and MSME, they should complement each other. When MSMEs prosper, their most of raw materials are from agriculture. Agriculture also will prosper because of this value addition. The main missing link with us is value addition. What is the impact of this government support? This is the statistics. Because of all these schemes, we got lot of benefits. Then state, Karnataka tourism policy 24-29. You will get for hotels subsidy, for wayside facilities subsidy, medical tourism subsidy. When you will get, I don't know. Sanction you will get. Release payable when? Payable. But once they sanction, they will give. When? Free there I am. And they are giving you to it. So lot of schemes are there. Those who want to set up hotels also you can suggest, not in Bangalore urban. Then Karnataka industrial policy. Here also Karnataka industrial policy 25-30. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3 areas. Bangalore urban, no scheme, nothing. Other scheme, there are investment based and turnover based. Both subsidies are there. I have given an opinion to one company. They have 10-20 factories all over India. They kept on competition. All these 10 CEOs, you should prove we want to make expansion. Which state has got this? Then they sought opinion from me. I have given the opinion. I have charged only 1 lakh for the opinion. What are these schemes? Then they asked clarification, they have given. Small amount, Bangalore people they charge more. We are in rural area. Okay, these are the incentives up to 25%. Then stamp duty exemption is there, Bangalore rural. Setting up of the new unit and expansion both only for manufacturing, stamp duty exemption. ಈಗ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯಪತ್ರ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಂತೀವಿ. How many of you know? Bankers will not tell. ಲೋನ್ ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ವೆರಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಲೋನ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆದರೆ ಸಾಕು ಹಬ್ಬ ಇವತ್ತು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ತಂದಾಯಿತು ಪುನಃ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಷನ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ಲೈ. There is some exemption. Out of that exemption, something they also demand. That is another problem. But that is the stamp duty exemption is there, conversion fee waiver is there, even in tourism and MSMEs. But not in urban area. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3. I told no. For policy only, we have to keep one session then, if I want to. What is this? CIBIL score. Main thing is you have to maintain your CIBIL score properly, otherwise gone case. For individuals, individual CIBIL. For enterprises, CMR CIBIL. CMR CIBIL above 5 means they don't finance. So all your installments should be taken care before time you have to pay or on time. Interest on CC limit. You know that interest will fall due on end of the month. You should keep sufficient provision. And you should not, if 1 crore limit 99 lakh, 99,000 you should not draw. Some 70-80% only you should draw. Then your CIBIL score will be, CMR CIBIL will be more. NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation, they are enabling MSME enterprises. They are assisting. It is Government of India undertaking. Okay? So they can register under this. If they do, there are a lot of benefits under tender fees exemption and exhibitions and all. Worldwide they give some subsidy. All these the benefits of NSIC registration. No earnest money deposit. Special product list for MSCs 358. Other multiple schemes. Procurement for MSCs I already told. PPP. Reservation for MSMEs. Tender at zero cost. All these are the benefits MSCs. Some raw material which you cannot procure in normal course, they will also procure and give with the bank guarantee. So a lot of portals are there. Samadhan portal, Sambandh portal, champion portal, all these things. Then dispute resolution I want to cover a little bit. This Samadhan portal, okay. So where there is a dispute, you know, 43 BH, late payment. What is the number of days? If there is agreement, maximum 45 days. Or agreement period, whichever is served. If there is no agreement, maximum 15 days. More than that, if you delay 3x of the RBI bank rate, you can charge interest. If 8% means 24% you can take. For that, if there is any due, then dispute resolution. Now, online dispute resolution scheme has been, as they have introduced. Okay. So, MSME disputes, normally for payment, these are the days. Okay. So now, micro and small enterprises facilitation council. You can make online application. So no cost there. So if the payment is not done within 45 days, then you can complain. Then 90 days for council resolution. Then we know we have, as per MSME 1, we have to give the report once in 6 months. Bank rate 3x, bank rate penalty. Monthly compounding that too, interest on interest will come. Then tax deduction. If the person who want to pay, if he has delayed, the delayed payment interest, if he pays, it is not deductible as expense. So it is very expensive, both interest rate, even no deduction. Dispute resolution mechanism. Okay, this is the slide. How it works. Okay, there are 6 qualities of entrepreneurs. To be an entrepreneur, the main problem is with the parents, especially mothers. They don't allow their children to become entrepreneurs. ನಾಳೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಮಾರಾಯ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ನೋ ದೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರನರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಇವನ್ ಮೆನಿ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಕ್ಸೀಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ minted more money than practice. You can also start business. So there are 6 qualities. Udyamaha sahasam dhairyam buddhi shakti parakramah shadete atra vartante tatra daiva sahayakam. That means this 6 quality, you should be industrious, you should be courageous, you should have patience, you should have wisdom, means knowledge in the subject, power and perseverance. These 6 qualities you can become entrepreneur. And women entrepreneurs, they can succeed better than men. Because they are always calculated, more calculated. Correct, no? So there is a beautiful saying in Skanda Purana regarding women. Dashaputra samakanya, Dashaputran pravardhayam, yatparam labate mastasthallabhyam kanyai ekaya. That means Dashaputra samakanya. Earlier, when a girl was born in a family, parents used to have 10 sons. Now she is equivalent to 10 sons. That is Dashaputra Samakanya. Ladies, they don't clap, that is the main problem. Okay, that also I have to tell. Okay, so next. उद्यमेन हि सिद्ध्यन्ति कार्याणि न मनोरथैः नहि सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशन्ति मुखे प्रगा. Without PPT also entire thing I can read, there is no problem. PPT is here. Okay. So here, if you are already entrepreneur, you can diversify. You can look for additional things. In my book it is beautifully written. I will not rest until I am the best. What is the extension? Once I am the best, I will see what is next. Okay? So that is the thing. Then Chanakya Niti is Siddh. What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is beautifully explained. Pushpe gandham, tile tailam, kaste agnim, payasi gratam, ikshav gudam, tatha dehe pashyatmanam vivekatah. I tell you. Okay. Pushpe gandham, extracting fragrance from the flower. Tile tailam, extracting ginjili oil from ginjili. Kaste agnim, from firewood, fire. Payasi gratam, from milk to ghee. Ikshav gudam, from sugar cane to sugar. To say it is very easy. I will give you sugar cane. Can you give me sugar? So it requires lot of hard work process. So entrepreneurship is like that only. So I don't want to cover more. Already 3 times he was looking at me. So lot of professional opportunities are there. That also next time if you this I can explain 50 types of professional opportunities in MSME sector. So it is my passion that MSMEs I am mentoring for the last 37 years, and from zero to we have made hero. Many of the companies they are going for public issue now. A person who was almost bankrupt, he came to me. He gave an idea. Of course, he has done hard work. Now he is only paying 10 crore income tax per year. That is the kind of this. You will have satisfaction. Ultimately in life, what is satisfaction? In full moon day, satisfaction is like a moon reflected on the water. Neither moon gets bent nor water is broken. That is the satisfaction. Contentment. Okay? Thank you. After our CA Venkatesh Bhat covers this startup, last 15 minutes if you have any doubts, we can discuss. Hope you have enjoyed the session. You got at least some knowledge. Thank you very much for your patient listening and interaction.
Fix what is the right risk and what is the unnecessary risk, and that is where you can actually contribute. Financial rigor, which is putting plans, putting the overall long-term numbers in terms of what can be done. Again here, my experience in startups is that there is no one plan. There is scenarios. So if X amount of funding is available in the next 3 months, there is one scenario. If that money is not going to come, probably 6 months later, the scenario is different. So you can't have one business plan, but depending on the resources available and the way the market situation, you need to then come up with different plans. Now, can you come in 20 plans? You can. Will it help? Won't. So then you have to figure out what is the most likely scenario next, and in terms of risk also you should be able to rate. That is where the financial rigor comes. Not in terms of taking a trial balance and generating a P&L and giving a balance sheet to the client. Investment storytellers, building credibility. Many startups want CEs to come with them when they are talking to investors. Why? Because you are the one who can actually tell the story better. Sorry, the last one. Strategic sounding boards. I grant this that probably this is something like people like Mr. Nayak and probably with my years of experience we can do a slightly better job, because you are the one who can actually go beyond just funding and assist them in terms of thinking through many areas. I will cover them also in some level of detail. So preventing expensive downstream pivots, choosing the right legal and financial structure. One of the startup problems that we see when startups come to us is that they have already created some structure and they are now prisoners of that structure. Either they have created a company in which they don't know who is holding what percentages and why they are holding. Somebody is holding let us say debt that can be converted into equity. Why did they give? They don't know. Some consultant is coming and that consultant should have been paid in terms of cash. Instead, they think it is very easy to give away equity. So create this in terms of how the capital structure is done, how even the selection of whether you want to do an LLP, whether you want a private itself is a question mark. If you want to be funded, there is no choice. You have to go for a private limited format because no investor will come and put in money in LLP, right? So that part is clear. However, how do you want to actually structure them beyond, beyond one country? How do you structure an international presence? And within the shareholding and other advisors and senior guys, what should be the kind of rights and responsibilities that we need to fix? That is where eventually the more you do it correctly, the more longer the startup will get the benefit of it. So legal entity selection, evaluating LLP versus private limited companies. Then the last part is capital structure design. I covered equity, vesting, cap table arrangements. Vesting and ESOP is not something to be taken by everybody. I normally suggest to somebody to go for an ESOP only if today when we see the balance sheet, the product, today we see a value. If there is no value today, by bringing an ESOP, it is just a paper value, no one is going to see value there. So there is always a right time for starting an ESOP. And then to whom you will give ESOP is also another question. Not to every employee and not necessarily even to every senior person. So this is the thought process. It will actually be then go into what is your business plan, what is your expansion plan, what needs to be done. Eventually who are the key people inside the company, outside the company, network partner, advisor, who are the ones you want to be your partner over a longer run. All those will go into deciding the capital structure design. Then the third part is financial controls, accounting system and approval matrices. Very few startups actually have even a schedule of authority. What happens here is that the startups actually cheat. Okay, and because most of the time it is one or two guys, right? They think we know everything. So, and that's a fact also. Because everything that happens in the business they know. But any system that we design needs to be future oriented. Once the pressure starts coming in, cracks start coming in. So somebody realized that okay, this payment has happened. Why did this happen? No one actually really applied their mind. It has to be somebody said it is urgent payment. The person ensured the payment has happened. And unlike a large company, there will not be maker, checker, some document to be checked. All of those processes will not be there. So somebody is having a RTGS rights in this one, he will release the payment. So approval matrices is a very important part and the accounting system. And the last is the compliance roadmap, which is tax, labor law. What again experience tells us is that most startups think a lot more in detail about product and a lot less about all the supporting systems. I keep telling them, if you are only thinking of revenue and everything else you are thinking I will do later, you are actually building a fourth floor and saying next 3 floors below I will start thinking about it when I need to. It doesn't work. You need to first think of these processes. No, you don't need to put MNC grade systems here. But then you need to have clarity on taxation. For example, when we even the smallest of the startups, when we advise every month, rigorously we send a compliance report. And in the compliance report, not necessarily we are responsible for the compliance, but we track every one of them. Whether it is labor law, tax, return filing, every one of them, what is due for the week, for the month, and whether that has been met or not. Because through that we are also getting the founders into a thought process that this is something that I should not be wasting my time later. Build it upfront. Financial rigor translates product vision into operation reality. So this is all about data-driven MIS. Of course, all of us know what is MIS. Define MIS. Any of you? Yes, but what does that mean?
For decision with the actual.
Correct. So, when you think through a startup, what can be different? See, revenue, gross margin, EBITDA, PBT, PAT. This is common structure, definitely. But what can be different?
See, in startup, there will be crash cases basically. Fund management is the first problem there. And revenue growth second. Whether we are meeting the target, next 5 years target we are meeting in that. These are major two things. And why customers not growing up or second anything. These are the 3 lines where they are issues to the startup.
So you are talking about a dashboard where there are more parameters than just the revenue and profits. Any of the startups, unless they are actually thinking of only one product, one sector, many of the activities that they do are in a different stages. Take any startup, I am proven right. So there will be, let us say, someone has launched a particular service, let us say quick commerce. They have launched in Bangalore and Hyderabad. And in these 2 cities, they have been there for 2 years. Okay, now they are going and launching something in Delhi. Any other city? Now, if in the P&L you are not able to segregate costs and revenue for each of these verticals separately, you will not be able to figure out whether in each of these the kind of margin that you should have made or the plan that you had, whether you have been able to achieve or not. You are not saying Delhi has to make money year in month 1. You are not going to make. But how much money you intended to lose in Delhi did you lose? Or have you lost more than that? If some profit in Bangalore is compensating the loss in Delhi, this insight is very important because that will mean certain decisions will be taken on a monthly basis. So, thinking through the data-driven MIS and cash flow management is a very important part of a CA's help to a startup. Many times, this is like India's diabetes problem. India, 1 in 3 are either have diabetes already or pre-diabetic. But if you speak to any 3 people on the road, probably everybody will say, I don't have diabetes. The point is simple. It is one thing to know, okay, one thing to have a problem, but the other is to actually know that I have a problem. Many startups don't even understand that this is a problem. That they don't have an appropriate mechanism by which they can actually understand. That insight has to come from the CEO. Then performance boards like covered plans and budgets. You setting up plans and budgets. What is the budget and what is the plan? Quickly.
Plan is future estimated thing what we are going to do for next 5 years. Budget is for a specific period. Say for example 1 month, quarter or 1 year. Whether we are meeting the target to that extent, we will compare that. Plan maybe say for example 10 products we are going to plan next 10 years. But budget on existing product is our sale.
See, I would put it this way, a plan is for at a business level and the budget is at a function level. Even startups have to think in terms of how much to go into technology, how much to go into market development, how much to go into administrative back office this one, and those need to be budgeted, and those budgets may not be fixed in the sense it can be linked to certain business growth, but there has to be. Because if you don't, what happens in many startups is that because those budgets are not set, everybody has to wait for the founder to be free. Then the founder starts calling for meetings at 11 o'clock because he has to decide everything. So morning to this one he is busy and everyone is waiting for his time. So the decisions that need to be driven once a plan is decided needs to come through budgets to the respective team. And that again, to be thought through. So in a particular startup, what exactly should be the budget is something that that is very specific to that startup. I mean, we can't really generalize this, but it is about the plan of the startup for the next 1 or 2 years. What are the key departments? What are the kind of numbers they need to have? Control mechanisms, approval metrics, and expense control, and then profit analysis, identifying products or segments driving value versus those consuming disproportionate resources. Now, disproportionate resources can be done if you are identifying a certain line as a loss leader. For example, let us say you have a series of products. You have a series of, let us say HR products. Now you know that payroll is something everybody requires, right? So other products that you have in your HRMS are going to be costly. Okay, even payroll costs money, but then by pricing payroll lower, you get a entry into almost any company, any industry easily. And once you enter through payroll, then figure out how to actually get the customer. Then it becomes a loss leader. Right? So if you do a P&L only for just the payroll part of the software, probably how much money you make versus the resources that you are deploying for selling, support systems, the call center that you put, etc., may not make sense. Then what do you do? The point, you need to say this will actually make losses. However, how much loss I will allow here vis-a-vis the new business that is to come in. That logic you need to set right, and that has to come through the profit analysis that you do.
Sir, I want to add one.
What?
We need to suggest the operating cycle from cash equivalents to cash equivalents. That cycle has to be done. That has to be understood. Means industry-wise it may change from 60
Correct.
days, 90 days, 120 days, depending on.
You are absolutely right. Many times, for different products also within the same company also there will be different operating cycles. So operating cycles are a very, very important part because that also will have an implication on the funding later on. So based on your cycle, you need to figure out what is the need of the total funds that you require. Investment readiness depends on the quality of financial, and CS brings the information gap between founders and investors. See, many founders, you will find they are, head in the cloud, visionary, they're talking about products or services that don't exist today. And you ask, we will not find any startup presentation which doesn't talk about TAM in dollar billions. Yes or no? Everybody talks about dollar billions. So, visionary, how much this opportunity is there, everybody is thinking about that part. But when it comes to investor, he won't ask only one question. How many orders you have in hand today? So he will start from there. While this guy is here. So who is the bridge between these two? It is the CA who should be able to understand that vision, give a clarity of path from where you are today in terms of orders and whatever the customer funnel you have to the eventual vision that we have. That needs to be built properly. If you ask the founder, he has a vision and he also has a path. Unfortunately, the path is not, it is like a Bangalore road, full of holes. So, when you start driving only, then you realize the problem there. So, financial modeling, valuation exercises, I will cover a bit of valuation, but a lot of funding has been done already, so I am not going to touch upon, and also I have to close by 7:45. That is the warning given by the institute and the group. So, due diligence support, this of course you guys understand. So what is due diligence support? What does the CA can do in due diligence? How many of you have done any kind of due diligence? 1, 2. Okay, so then rest of the team doesn't even know what is due diligence. What is due diligence? Go ahead.
If some investor has interested in some business opportunities available, he expected due diligence. Due diligence may be in respect to the financial health of the company, maybe taxation related, any pending litigations, anything, future any liquidity damages the company going to pay. All those financial health of the company and the business.
So let me summarize because he did not have the benefit of the mic. So due diligence support, basically investors will come with a set of questions, primarily around financials, taxation compliances, your secretarial matters, and sometimes even on the technology piece. So that's the due diligence. I want to step back and ask, why do they even investors do a due diligence? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to certify your balance sheet? No. Then what are they trying to do?
They're filtering the filter process more. They're filtering the filter process more. That means they want to know the compliance-wise, investment-wise assets physically are they or not. They want to see the 360-degree angle, whether company existing was correct, past, present, future, whether it makes it is a cash generating unit or just a namesake balance sheet is being created.
and complaints, any litigation, old litigation, whether it will affect the financial position, and whether the growth of employees is at next level or not. To that extent, they are seeing A to Z.
Two reasons. First, VCs want to understand the enterprise value that you are actually asking. Is that enterprise value fair? And every problem that you come out with, you will find in startup, next year's revenue is already counted to current year for calculating the total revenue, because we are talking enterprise value as a multiple of revenue, right? So you see this in many startups. So the focus is, you are saying my company value is 200 crores. So VC will identify, or anyone doing this one will identify every possible problem that you are already sitting on, and all that will get reduced from this 200 crores. Assuming 200 crores is even a starting point from their perspective. Many times it is not. You are at 200 crores, you start with 50 crores, and then you will say 50 say. So in the background, that is the fundamental negotiation that happens. What is the real enterprise value of this company? Now the second point that you made is also right, which is, it is not about just the today's enterprise value, because no one is investing in today's enterprise value. Why is a VC investing? He is saying, if I put in today 10 crores, will I get 30 crores in 4 years? That's the question. And that question is answered by startup, the due diligence process. Because if the processes are existing, okay, and there seems to be a team that is able to handle all of this properly, that is where the confidence comes, and that is exactly where the CS role comes. If you are a chartered accountant, due diligence approach doesn't start with when VC is actually setting the questions. It starts before. You look into the company, you look into the problems, whatever could be on the compliance side, whatever issues are there, start addressing them right away, or at least quantify the damage and minimize it as much as possible. Every one of the things that you do will start helping you in enterprise value optimization. And the other part is that a confident chartered accountant explaining the business process, explaining the future business plan, has a significant impact in a VC discussion compared to founders fumbling and mumbling and every question coming in there, they are not able to give a quantitative answer to those questions, because every quantitative answer is not there in the business plan. Because since you worked on them, you know how these numbers have arrived at. So that's a huge value that a chartered accountant brings here. So financing rounds. Can you tell me what are the financing rounds in a startup?
Pre-seed, seed.
Correct.
Series,
Pre-series, seed round, Series A. Then you can always say pre-series A.
It will work out to sketch, I guess.
So of course, but basically you have a seed round at a very theoretical A, B, C, and by the time C, you should be talking to private equity, not be talking to VCs and all that. Even sometimes even B, you may talk to P rather than a VC. But the question that I am asking is, how do you decide what is the point of time when you should be going for a pre-series or A or B? How do you decide this?
When you have a POC, angel comes. When you have a basic PMF, your pre-seed comes. When you have a market with a recurring revenue, you will have a seed. When you have a market with a recurring revenue, recurring customers, you will have Series A. That's how it starts.
So, every one of the statements that you made has a certain amount of qualitative assessment. Have we reached that point where we have a certain amount of clarity regarding our markets, clarity regarding exactly what are the features of the product that we are launching today and what features we are actually keeping for future. All these are part of the decision on when to look for, when to go for the kind of funding. Unfortunately, many of the startups are permanently hungry, perennially in the market. So for them this question doesn't even make any sense. I need money tomorrow. The problem is, if you take money early, what happens?
You burn a lot.
You lose equity. So the more you wait for the enterprise value to be higher and mature, and then you take the same 5 crores, probably instead of giving 10%, you are able to give 5%. And that's a huge difference. Because that 5% today looks a very small number, but 4 years down the line, that 5% can mean a 200 crores for you. So that timing is important. At the same time, delaying also doesn't help, because it is not that when you go to the market, whole world is ready to fund you. There is already West war, there is something else happening in somewhere else, and there is always some policy issues that are there in the country. All these are there, and these are not in your control also. So you need to be in the market, but you need to decide what is the right frame for you to actually plan this. That's again an important role the CA should play. And then the last one, term sheet negotiation. So how many have even seen term sheets here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. A term sheet is in a way a sale investor agreement reduced to a one sheet. And there investor will say, under these conditions I am investing. You see, what happens here is depending on the type of investor, this term sheet negotiation can be simple, can be complex. If you, let us say, institutional, let's say, incubator or accelerator is investing, or the well-known ones that are investing, they have certain norms, and those term sheets will have the same norms, so there is not much you can anyway negotiate there. But in many other places, this term sheet negotiation can be very, very difficult, because typically VCs want to put in less money, but want to take control of the company in every possible way. So even tomorrow, in order to step out for a cigarette, you may need to take his permission, if you sign the term sheet as it exists. So in those scenarios, the term sheet negotiation becomes an art. What do you want to keep? What do you want to give up? And many times, on both sides there will be lawyers. But I have realized that lawyers will do only so much, because what happens with the lawyer is that they go in a very technical way. This is right, this is not right. But you need to bring in the concept of what is important for the business. From the business side, in terms of the future, what is going to happen for the products or for the markets you play, which one you should keep or which one you should not keep, is a very strategic call, and that will not come from a lawyer. That will come from founders and a CEO who is able to put value to the options that you get. If I do this, this is the money I lose. If I do this, this is the money I gain. This quantification is the key. So, funding challenges faced by startups is very similar to many of the MSMEs problems. But see, first of all, it starts with inadequate understanding of the investor perspective. So many times the startups start with the logic that investors are there just to fund you. They are as much enamored by your product, and they are standing in a queue to invest. But the market reality is completely different. So how do you then create that that the investor looks at our business same way that we are looking at? That in understanding is the first problem for the startups. So that's the reason startups start facing problem here. Recently we had one discussion, one tech, I won't call the which product and some, but or tech product. It is already multi-country company. So he's talking to an investor. Everything went well, except that investor said, I am interested only if you have a very specific AI play for the next 3 years. Do you know what you are going to do in your sector in terms of AI? He gave an answer, but the answer was not very, very clear. And everything else that went right till that time fell off. So that investor perspective, why the investor will come into our company, you need to be very clear. Then weak product differentiation. There is a saying, right, for Kannada, so for many people, for many of the startup founders, their product is the ultimate. Very rarely you will find any startup founder saying, I have a product, there are similar products, okay, and which are very, very close to us, but this is how I want to build a differentiation. That's never the story. They will say, sir, we are very unique. There's across the globe, there's no other product like this. The point, that if you are not able to differentiate your product very clearly, and you know where it is a commodity, at what features is commodity, and which features of this actually really create uniqueness. That understanding requires a deeper understanding of the market and a lot of humility, which is many times missing. Lack of GTM strategy. You may have a great product. How do you market it is a big question. And many startup founders are less than 30. They don't have a marketing experience. Neither they have any co-founder or any advisor who gives them on a GTM strategy. Without a GTM strategy, no one will put money into a company. So, then path to profitability. How are you going to become profitable? See, it is not that, okay, I just need to do this for 5 years. If I do this 5 years, I become profitable and write an Excel. It doesn't work like that, right? So today you are making losses because of you are investing money in 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Over the years, this is where you are going to either improve your revenue or bring in more sophistication in terms of additional features, and where are the costs that can be eliminated. This clarity, not just in terms of very high level, but in terms of timelines, is the path to profitability. Without that path to profitability, investor will think this is more like a dream. This is a nice thing. It may happen, but the probability is happening less than 10% because there is no clarity on exactly how this is going to happen. And then founder team gaps. I mentioned this also. Many times founders, there is somebody with some amount of technology experience. Someone has some HR or kind of back office experience. Some 2, 3 of them. They think that between them they actually complement each other. They can actually build a company, $1 billion company. One question on marketing, no one has an answer actually. So skill sets that are needed, and some of the products probably require government support, or you need to canvas. In which case you need somebody with a liaising skill set as part of the advisor team or as part of the co-founder team. So understanding for the particular business what is needed, what are the key skills for it to succeed, and then mapping against in the founder set what skill sets are there. That mapping is missing, and that also is the reason why startups don't get funded. And the last is lack of networking. You can't sit in a laboratory and say I have a product and this product is a global winner. You need to network, and many times the networking is not simply about investors. Many times the networking is in academic institutions. Understanding what are the other technologies that are actually competing with this. What can be which product categories may even be competing with us. Which academic institution can actually contribute. So networking goes far beyond just the investor network. But that lack of networking will mean you keep on, opportunities for startup can come from many areas. There is no one simple way to say that this is the best way for the startup to do it. So one of the team member at least needs to be a networking guy who has that kind of even attitude and the ability to work with the different groups and bring in the necessary expertise, because all expertise cannot be salaried. A lot of it has to come from outside. Many times there are mentors, there are advisors, they may not even be charging anything, or even if they charge, they may be charging a very less this one. But if you don't even go to them, how will you even get it? So this is a very famous this one of the fundraising this one. So revenue is 0. You start the company. So there is a valley of death. That is that initial period where you have done a bootstrapping, no funding has happened. Many startups die their death. You know what is the startup failure rate? Any guesses?
93%.
I won't call it 99, but very close to that. Yeah, between 97 to 98% is the typical. Any market you do the checking, you will actually come out closer to that. That valley of death, if you are able to escape, then you go into early stage funding, later stage, and second stage. The point of this slide is that after some point of time, it is public market, right? So before that, a mix of debt, equity, and quasi-equity is the way you fund. Okay. Can an early startup get debt? Other than Mr. Nayak, there is no magician here who can get funded. That also will be through CDMSE scheme. right? So maybe 20 lakhs, right? Otherwise, the one thing that is missing here is the grant. So you should also add some grant. But the reason I not put grant is that in the larger scheme of things, grants are not a big percentage, and many founders actually run after grants unnecessarily and lose the sight on what they need to do in terms of market readiness. That's the reason grant you have to be careful, but grant can be a good starting point. Initially, you will have to offer equity or debt that can be eventually converted into equity. That's the only way you will get the initial funding. So we have a saying that who are the early investors into a company? It is triple F: families, friends, and fools. Why fools? Because there is no collateral. There is only one T-shirt wearing founder who has an idea, and because you know him, you believe in him, you are putting money. So that's the initial funding. But as you, to the extent you are able to give a quasi equity, that you take a debt, you say part of this only will get converted into equity at a later valuation, and as much as possible I will try to repay. The amount of equity you need to give will keep going down. So this mix of at which stage what equity, what debt to give is again involves a lot of debt. See, today I think everybody got impressed with Mr. Nayak's session. Why? There are only two ways today to build business. Only two ways. One, build a large enough, like Big Four, large enough set of partners. Create a market presence. You can even be doing BPO work. You will still make money. The other way is to become a really deep subject matter expert. Then you don't need to be large, but because you are very focused and really very good in what you do, you can be successful. But there is no third formula. A lot of us are neither here nor there, and that is where we are stuck. So even here, theoretically it is very easy, but in terms of you need to probably start working with startups and figuring out. You will also make mistakes, founders also will make mistakes, that's how you will actually grow. But this is an area where you don't leave it to lawyers, otherwise it will be bankers, lawyers and others who will have their own ways of looking at it. But as CS you need to contribute. So let me move fast. So these are the M1, M2, M3, M4, which is identified institutional buyer, preparation of business plan, valuation, dilution. It's the first milestone. Then investor discussion, final term sheet. Then the due diligence, final term negotiation comes, like what he said. He's talked about dating and 59-minute loan. So your 59-minute loan stops here. But there is further stuff to be done till you get to see the final money coming in your hand. Anyway, I will share. I don't think we have enough time to go through the different valuation. But anyway, all of this is actually, you can do enough ChatGPT work and figure out all of this by yourself. I think you are capable of it. But learn what are the various options. Need to have an understanding first of all. You don't need to actually do it yourself. But if you have an understanding in a startup conversation, you will start adding value to the startup. What is growth stage valuation? See, as you go higher, at an early stage, what happens? You actually get the valuation becomes a really thukkabaji. So suppose you just have an idea, how much investment will come depends on the accelerator. Now accelerator say, I don't put anything more than 3 crores. That is where your conversation starts and ends. Right. So if you are in a Silicon Valley, they will say you have an idea, 0.5 million. You are from this particular institution, another 0.5 million. One of the founder is coming from Google or this one, another 0.5 million. This is how initial valuations happen. But as you grow further, once you have a proper financials, past, future, etc. available, all these are JV multiples, and then MRR is monthly run rate, annual run rate, multiples of that becomes valuation. When we studied chartered accountancy, we did not know what is the annual run rate of revenue, because all our valuations were based on profits. When you start off, there is no profit. So you start looking at revenue and give multiples of the revenue valuation. Revenue by EBITDA, what is the ratio? DCF, comparable. So all these are the different growth stage valuations. Oh, sorry, I'm going back. So these are the typical issues that we see: no top line, business plan doesn't exist, then bottom line is so skewed that anyone in a right sense will not put in money unless you give the investor 2 pegs and then ask him to sign a sheet. Then only he will put money. Benchmarking, you don't know in the same industry there is a SaaS product. How other SaaS products are valued, you don't even have a clue. And then benchmarking is a very critical part. So then how do you anchor valuation? Where do you want to? Is it a multiple of current year revenue? Is it a multiple of future revenue, say 2 years, 3 years down the line, what is the revenue steady and multiples of that? Similarly, your profit future multiples, that's a conversation that even before getting into a discussion with VC should have actually had. Our typical experience with startups, market sizing and target not precisely defined. Business plan not detailed out. Very high level, one Excel sheet prepared by somebody who has just come out of the college. So it's a very simple revenue and this one question on that, why you are assuming this percentage, there is no answer. So your business plan needs to have a certain amount of clarity. Valuation, you are asking for the moon, you are saying I need 200 crores. But what is the logic of the 200 crores, you don't. The answer is that because my friend, he had an idea and he got 100 crores. If he can get 100 crores, I should get 200 crores. This is the logic. Past, present, future, natural linkages are missing, and then complex shareholding structure. Many startups at an early stage already have 25 shareholders. Now, cleaning up this cap table itself is the first activity, because nobody wants to become 26 shareholder in a company which is valued at 10 crores. So you are straight away, scaring away the VCs. These are you can take a photo of this. The typical 10 questions what investors ask. What problem are you solving? Why is this a big market? You will say it's a big market. People will ask why. If that problem was so important, if life and death of people depend on it, by now somebody should have solved it. So why is it such a, the problem that nobody has solved so far? Why now? Why are you the right team? Problem may be a great problem. Are you the right people to solve the problem? Then what traction have you achieved? What is your claim to fame as of now? Do you have a product ready? Do you have a prototype ready? Do you have at least one order in hand? All these are important things. What are the kind of agreements and kind of MOUs that you have signed? Who are competitors and why you will win the competition? How do you acquire customers profitably? Acquiring customers is easy, profitably tough in the current market. What are your unit economics? I will not get into that because that's a topic by itself. How much money you need and what will it achieve, and how can investors make a meaningful return? That's the most important question. If you are not able to give this answer, you are asking for 5 crores. How he will get 15 crores in 3 years? If you are not able to have a clear answer, you will not get the money. You may think 5 crores is too small for this guy got 1500 crores. He will not put that even the 5 crores. Because he was very clear, that is how he made his 1500 crores. Sorry. So this is a regulatory complexity which largely you guys know already. So the only couple of things that are missing that probably is a cross-border compliances. The minute you start any technology product, the first thing that you realize is that this product can be not only in India market, it can be done in APAC, you can do it in US, why not Gulf? All those questions will start coming in. So, but once you start activity there, how are you going to structure this becomes an important one. Otherwise, you will make 25 paisa and your total cost of compliance later will become 1 rupee. So this one structuring, that is very, very important. ESOP taxation, ESOP you can structure, but what is the taxation on the ESOP as and when it becomes a devolves on the employees, it can mean structuring can be done better, because imagine a scenario where you have an ESOP, you are going to liquidate that just before your NSE listing. What happens? All the shares that you are holding, when you are selling, it becomes a short-term capital gain. Right? So how do you then structure your ESOP in a way that employees can actually hold those shares for enough period so that they can move from a short-term to long-term capital gain. I am just giving one example. There can be many areas in this area. Transfer pricing, all of us largely understand this. International expansion is to be thought through. It's not a mindless game to be done. Then corporate governance. While it is the last point, it is not the least point. You have to build corporate governance from day one. Then only you are able to scale the business. Otherwise, later on, VCs will start finding all kinds of problems that are there in this. Oh, you invested this money. Where is the RBI approval? Nobody thought about it. So, authorized dealer did not advise them properly. So there maybe some discussion happened. The person who had it has gone out of the company. Now no one even knows where is this approval. So investor confidence you need to build through these governance frameworks. Transition start from professionally governed governance frameworks, risk mitigation, revenue, ensuring the top line growth is reported according to robust accounting standards. These are all largely accounting and this one, but this is how you build an investor confidence. Nobody talks about, when we discuss in any of startup this one, how do we build investor confidence? Nobody talks. But that's the most important way you can actually contribute to a startup. Leakage prevention. How do you ensure that there are no leakages? Leakage of money, leakage of opportunities. Last is the strategic advisory, which is pricing strategy. How do you price a product is not necessarily something only left to the market. You need to have market as a benchmark, but do you know what is the really accumulated costs that lead to a particular product? So you can say that if I have to make this margin, this is the pricing. And what should be the pricing strategy in different markets? In one market you may want to price one way, and in another market you want to do it in a different way. How do you then have a strategy and execute it to flawlessly, week after week, month after month? M&A, capital, advising on where to deploy raised capital. Okay, and then any exit planning and business model changes. Business model change is a big area where most of the time, business model change happens, and then the chartered accountant comes to know that the model has changed now. Suddenly they have brought in, it was all online business. Suddenly they have gone offline, and they have gone and signed up with somebody and giving them a 40% as an upfront fee for placing their products in the stores. This business model change should be thought through beforehand. Then where you are signing, what is the right way. On that, there can be a good amount of advice that can come from an experienced CEO. So typically these are the CS roles across the startup life cycle. Idea stage, you are an entity architect. At an early stage, you are a controller. Growth stage, you are the growth catalyst. How to push the catalyst this one out. Scale stage, you become the governance lead. You need to then ensure that governance is put in place in the scale stage. And exit stage, you are the transaction advisor. See, these are the stages at a startup stage how a CA can do. And when we look at actual CAs who do this, you will find very, very few going beyond accounting, taxation, and some amount of possibly business fundraise related, some activity in terms of Excel work. So, future trends, next gen CAs. This is one of my favorite slides. I put it every time. Like Nayak, Mr. Nayak said he has 50 services that can be rendered to MS. Future CAs are not going to be just accounting guys. That is going to be completely phased out, and it will be done by only those who can't do anything else. You will have virtual CFO services, AI-driven finance, and AI-driven finance is not magic one ERP implementation, because each business has its own complexity, what it can afford, what it cannot. AI comes with its own cost. So you need to figure out what is the right mix of AI and other technology to be brought in. That's a large area for CS to focus on. ESG and sustainability, another large area, and the strategic M&A. So a great CA is not startup scorekeeper, it's a primary architect, strategic architects. Thank you. Sorry? Sir. Sorry, I think I still over.
We are ready to see 15 more minutes. Questions.
Normally, when the session begins, there will be houseful. Now it is other way around. When the session ends, it is houseful. Let us give a big round of applause to Venkatesh Bhat for making all of you are there till at the end. Most interesting thing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, CA Venkatesh sir, and thank you, SS Nayak sir. I request CA Kavita Parmesh to come on the dais and hand over a token of appreciation for today's
Question
presentation.
and answer session.
Any questions? Q&A? Q&A, yes, if there are any Q&A sessions, please go on.
Only one more question.
Sir, this is for Nayak sir. Waste to energy is one thing which is gaining a lot of attraction, but are banks really funding these kind of initiatives? Because the tenders that come out from BVMP has no meaning at all. Nobody can bid for it. The terms and conditions are so stringent that for namesake they are issuing tenders. But are banks really funding these initiatives?
See, waste management is a fantastic most promising, but actually startups, if they start in this area, startups, there is fantastic scope for VC funding and all. Seed funding, VC funding, whatever it is. See, banks fund very simple. Bank don't understand startups. First of all, you should understand. Banks want to see whatever financial asset in front of them. Most of the bankers' weakness is that. Okay, banks don't finance anything which they can't see, which they can feel they can't fund. Second thing is, until commercialization, you have to go for startup funding only. Bankers finance only with definite cash flows only. That definite cash flows based on your projections, based on your basis of projection. Say for example, this year the turnover is 10 crore. Next year you cannot project 50 crore. Nobody will take. They will take normally 20% of the present turnover as the next year turnover. If it is more, either we should have work orders, or we should have diversified the product, or we should have specific concrete evidence to prove that there is so much turnover. So bankers fund based on the specific and assured cash flows only, because this service coverage ratio in case of term loans, in case of working capital, the number of times your inventory, that is stock turnover ratio or your booked turnover ratio, all these things they see. But one thing is that educational institutions is a missing link which you can tap now. They can also take OD limit from banks, because fees collections will be only during season, whereas expenses will be there throughout the year. In that case, turnover basis or cash budget method, because there are 5 methods of funding working capital. That itself is a big chapter. So based on that, they can fund.
So, are there any government initiatives or government directives to fund, waste to energy projects?
No, government is making only policies. It is left to individual banks whether to fund or not. Any project, if it is viable, you have to prove that it is viable and cash flows are definite, you can get funding.
See, there is a certain amount of green funding today, starting from CDP. But then you don't find too many of them actually qualifying, because the kind of conditions involved are difficult. But you need to actually check, specifically look for green funding. So there is also some amount of I think international funding today in this area. But you need to do a detailed study on that. But you look at the green energy, green this one, your waste management will come under the ESG.
Normally green funding, there will be a red flag by bankers.
Because many times green funding is becoming green washing, so that's the problem.
But renewable energy and all, they are finding bankers. Long term. Solar, then wind, all these things.
About solar manufacturing, around 10 to 20 crore investment if somebody is doing for solar manufacturing in solar, any sector.
Solar panels.
Solar panel or any other spare parts, or any package or any loan.
Yeah, definitely. Under the normal MSME funding they can take.
Under the normal.
Yeah.
There is no special package.
Why you have to special? Special means people are scared. You should not show it as it is special.
Because it is green.
If you tell bankers anything special, they will get scared. You should tell in the normal course.
Okay. Second question on the startups, whichever startup, most of the startup which is listed, still in big loss. So where it is heading? General question. What is the future after 5 years, 10 years? Will it be there like Cloud Kitchen? There is one startup which is listed. It is having 300 crore loss. So where it, like these companies, where it will be the headed next in the future? Any startup of this kind?
See, at the end of the day, many of the startups, their USP is that there is a much larger market that will emerge in future, and they are the early players in that particular field. Okay, so if somebody is incurring the 300 crores today, I am not specifically referring to that startup. The idea basically is not about now that this 300 crores will continue. There will be very specific plans, and that plans have been looked at by even large investors, and they are very clear that it is something that eventually they will be able to. That is why that money has come in. So if you look at a steady state company and when that gets listed, the idea basically is an old fashioned one, which is, I am not saying old fashioned in the sense of a negative way, but earlier days what it means, listing means what? Listing means the company will in future keep generating a certain amount of cash flow on a regular basis. So either it will pay a dividend, or it has so much of opportunity to grow that whatever profit it is generating, it will invest back. That is the idea based on which investment happens in the let us say old economy companies. In startup, you are investing. So why did you buy Zomato shares? Many people purchase Zomato shares thinking in post listing there will be an increase. But if you are thinking through the Zomato's business plan, what it is still saying is that there is even more opportunity, because as urbanization increases across the country, and as more and more people get into this habit of ordering, etc., even there is a much larger opportunity, and we are the first player. So we will be able to eventually make even more money. And the money may come not just by one thing, it may be platform fee, it will be a series of things, but over a period of time we all got used to it, right? Now we don't even blink when Amazon is adding 5 rupees as platform fee, they are paying, we are ordering. That's what, over a period of time it will make money.
One common mistake MSMEs what they think, all cash flows are not profits, and all accruals are also not profits. Especially in capital goods manufacturing industry, some people have dominance. What they normally do, they will take triple finance. One is advance from customers, finance from banks, then this one, equity, this funding also. So, suppliers credit, bank finance
and
customer advance. Then they will try to divert the money for elsewhere. They think that there is a profit because cash will be huge. But when it comes to real this, then they will have paucity of funds. You should be very, very, very careful. So while calculating drawing power also in banks what normally do, advance for suppliers, stock in trade, book debts up to 90 days, 120 days, whatever based on your this. Less creditors they put in their stocks, less advance from suppliers they put, advance from customers. That is also to be deducted. So you cannot have a double or triple financing. That should be very careful. You should advise the customers accordingly. That's why that CMA data they generate. While that litmus test lies in CMA data. The desirable ratios will come, TOL by TNW, current ratio, debt equity ratio, interest coverage ratio, all these things will be in CMA. So you should be very careful in drawing the CMA also.
Hello. My question is for Nayak sir. Sir, you said you gave an idea to a client that he went bankrupt to paying 10
I have not given idea to become bankrupt.
And he was about to go bankrupt, and from that he has ended up now paying 10 crores in taxes. So if you don't mind, can you share what idea you gave?
Ideally, they were into some other product. See, I cannot reveal the name and all, but it is not correct also as per our professional ethics. It is in a very rural area, semi-urban area. They were in a big this rice mill and all they were doing. Because of this government levy issues and all, they had lot of issues. Then suit filed, settlement, everything over. One suit filed means one case, nobody will fund it. But those days the civil issue were not there. It is around 25 to 30 years back. Then they have diversified their line. They went to some other product, oil, then edible wax and different products they did. And recently they could click because of exports and all. And value addition is so much, but profit is not in percentage, it is in times. So that now bank liability is zero. Now all deposits in the bank and paying due taxes and no number to business. Normally I don't encourage any customers to avoid taxes and do the business, because that is a downfall. We have done one program in our business tonic. Pay tax and be fine, otherwise pay fine. Is it fine?
Thank you.
Any other queries or comments?
So it is a very interesting subject. Many of us have neglected. Many retired bankers, some brokers, they are taking advantage. And some now new concept has started, corporate aggregators. They do funding and they tell we will share some percentage to you and all. So that kind of this they are doing. But very sorry state of affairs. Our own baby, okay, we are giving in the hands of somebody else, then we are reaping some small benefits. It's not correct. So we should take initiative in mentoring the customers, especially finance, because blood is a lifeline for our body. Like finance is a lifeline for any business, and business is the lifeline for economy, and economy is the lifeline for tax collection.
Very nicely put up, sir. So I am sure there was a lot of knowledge gained throughout the session from the speakers like SS Nayak sir and Venkatesh sir. Once again, from the bottom of our heart, from the Bangalore branch perspective, we would like to thank you, sir, for sparing time with us today. I request the CA Kavita Parmesh to hand over the memento for the speaker, CA SS Nayak sir. And CA Venkatesh Bhat. Thank you both the speakers, and also like to thank all the members.